Shut up and sit down. And sit down.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the 360 Sports Show, coming to you live here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Thank you for finding us here on a Monday evening. Hope you've all had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend and 3-day weekend so far. It was gorgeous out there today. I did not enjoy the outside world today because I am in isolation with good old COVID-19. So, Christian, I made a Pizzelli. He is Christian Lauber. I guess it's good that we have continued to do this show virtually. One, because it just suits our schedules, but also hassle-free since I tried to dodge it, but I guess now I have been a plague rat here for 5 days. So
it's undodgeable.
I'd say now we're getting close to you wanting to be around me again, but probably now not for a while.
Well, I mean, look, this is what's nice about it being virtual, right? We can just do it when we're in isolation.
Yeah. We may never do a live show ever again.
I mean,
we've joked about it. Don't joke too much. I'm gonna start coughing. But yeah. So if I am not my normal boisterous self, which I'm usually standing for this show. For our live viewers, I'm usually standing.
We'll see how the reviews come in. Maybe we need a toned back,
A dialed Pez back just a little bit. Yeah, I mean, this is going to sound more like welcome to fresh air here. Actually, this is some very not fresh air. Welcome to unfresh air.
Yeah, unfresh.
At the Andrew Pizzelli household.
Need some Febreze over
there. Something that is fresh, though. Fresh in our minds and hearts. I'm wearing a Kevin Garnett big ticket shirt. The Boston Celtics, pull it out.
They like to make it
interesting,
games don't they?
Versus the Miami Heat. Celtics win the Eastern Conference. They will face the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals. We'll talk about that matchup a little later on here in the show, but let's discuss the Celtics and the Heat here, kind of put a bow on this series and on Game 7. Celtics, back and forth series. The first 4 games, it's 2-2, but it's like, who knows what's going to happen. Celtics win Game 4. They win Game 5, a rock fight that they pull away from on the road. Heat kind of looking listless. Celtics opportunity to close it out at home. And old man Jimmy Butler, he just took the Celtics to the schoolyard, beat them up, took their lunch money, took their ticket to the finals, said, you know what, I'll hang on to this for another game. And almost did it again in Game 7. But he honestly, I think, outdid what LeBron did to the Celtics in 2012 in a Game 6 in Boston, because Butler had no help.
None. Yeah.
And goes on, Game 7, Celtics take a big lead, and I think this team has overcome so much, but we all have so much PTSD that when Jimmy Butler said, you know what, fine, like Thanos pulls out the gauntlet, I'm going to do it myself. Everyone was worried. And we'll get down, we'll analyze that last shot by Butler here in a minute, but unbelievable that the Celtics were able to pull that one out. I think it's a major mental hurdle for them. I think they've already proven what they can do. They know how good they are, but there's a mental aspect to getting that win last night that I think can getting to the finals.
Breaking the barrier there.
Breaking that barrier, which is huge for them. So that's kind of my biggest takeaway is the winning the mental hurdle. We'll talk about the nuts and bolts of the game itself, but the mental hurdle of getting to the finals, massive for the Celtics team.
Yeah, huge. I mean, that's the ultimate test for this team. They've been in this spot before. We've seen Tatum, Brown, and Smart and Horford all in this spot, and they couldn't break through a number of times. I want to say the three of them, and maybe Al at least twice, and then maybe Tatum one less game 7 in terms of Eastern Conference Finals appearances. But this is the ultimate test. Can you get through this? And look, I think the Celtics are the better team. There's no question about that. But Jimmy Butler is a player that if he gets going, he's a guy that's he's not Kevin Durant, he's not LeBron James, he's not the greatest of all time, but he's a superstar in the league, and he's a guy that just he just goes out there and gives no F's, basically. That's how I would put it. He's a guy that's tough. He's going to fight to the end, and he doesn't really care. He's not a guy that's going to go, I want to get my 40 and I don't really care about anything else. He wants to win, and he's tough. So those intangibles for Jimmy Butler, if he had any help, they probably are moving on in this series against kind of all odds, because I feel like the Celtics had this series won in maybe 5.
I was going to say, outside of like just having some really dreadful quarters in the first 4 games that made it a 2-2 series, the Celtics should have buttoned this thing up in 5. But
6 at most.
But as both Derek White and others said after Game 6, well, guess we got to do it the hard way. Wouldn't be us if we didn't do it the hard way.
They don't make it easy. And even last night, 3 minutes to go, you're up 12-13. No, it's not going to be that easy. You're not going to walk away from this. And then, Jimmy Butler obviously had a chance at it, but came up short. But this, like you mentioned, the mental hurdle here is bigger than anything for these guys, is getting above. Now, if you go get swept by Golden State, it doesn't really matter. But I think getting over that mental hurdle of being in these finals, LeBron kind of took you out of it in 1 year by himself, basically, and Butler was almost going to do it. To get over that hump is massive for this group.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like I feel like for so long, like think back to 2018. The Celtics were going to have to go through LeBron, and they almost did it. And then LeBron leaves, and it's like LeBron's gone. The conference is yours. It's your time. And what happens? That 2019 season is trash. Just nothing clicked. It was just a weird mix of young guys who, they talked about it. They were ready for more, and the veterans were ready to just say, no, this is our team, and it just wasn't a good mix. The chemistry, like the chemistry, not I think between them as people, but just on the court and the fits of everything, I think just didn't work. And so that's a wasted season. And Tatum's talked about, hey, that was the year Golden State was banged up. Like, that team had the most talent in the NBA. It honestly did. Like, top to bottom. The Warriors obviously had their big 4, but they were banged up by the time they got to the finals, and honestly, their role players that year was garbage because you were paying 4 guys so much money. So that was a wasted opportunity. Then you come back and you have the bubble year, and, it has all of its oddities and their own injury problems again with Hayward. But then Jimmy Butler kind of steals your heart in that series. Like, the Celtics should have won that series. People thought they would win that series, and they kind of got punked. And so then if you turn around, and then obviously last year was another debacle type of season with no expectations.
Yeah.
But then if you turn around this year, you have the turnaround you've had, and then you get to the East Conference Finals, and it's Jimmy Butler again who punks you, like does that to you in Game 6, and then almost single-handedly does it to you again, and you choke a Game 7. Now those mental hurdles just start growing. Like, Jimmy Butler's your daddy, and now you're thinking like, my God, we thought we just had to get rid of LeBron, and now we can't get past Jimmy Butler? Jimmy Butler and the Heat? Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent? We can't get past this team?
Butler and Adebayo. That's basically all they had last night.
Yeah, I know. But it would just, oh God, the frustration would just mount. and now they got past them. Now that last 3 minutes, like you talked about, that was nerve-wracking because you just knew it was coming. You could feel it. You know, all game the Celtics would, like, had a chance to make it a 20-point game. Miami gets it back to 9, right? And then the Celtics pushed it to 13. Now it's back to 6. No, it's 12 down to 4. Like, it just, they never got the lead. They never got within more than 2, but it just always kept kind of like the Celtics should never. Then it's like they settled things down. And it was the defense, honestly. That's the only thing that made me feel somewhat confident was the way they were defending and getting rebounds.
Make shots though.
They couldn't make shots. They were going. They were swinging for that put-away shot.
A little too much Marcus Smart on the end game.
I'll get into that. But they were defending. And then it's like it hits that crunch time. It was like 2:30 to go. And it was like you just need one bucket. And it's like, all right, Miami makes it 11. Now it's 9. Now it's 6. Strus hits a 3. Or no, then it was 5. Strus hits a 3. 2-point game. Now it's just getting way too close. Now you go from, hey, just get a shot to hang on to, like, we need a bucket here or we might lose this game.
Yep.
That was nerve-wracking stuff. And we'll talk about the Jimmy Butler play. I have no problem with him taking that 3-point shot. I get it. That dude was emptying the tank. I don't think the Heat had legs for overtime. I think his calculus was, I've got Al Horford backpedaling. If I go at the rim against him, maybe I can get it. Maybe I can nail one, but what if he blocks my shot? I could go for the win right here. I'm the guy. I'm the best player on the team. I'm not going to give it up to Strus or Oladipo. Granted, they were wide open. That may have been the smarter basketball play. But I'm going to go for the win right here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for their hearts. I thought it was going in. I honestly did. As soon as he pulled that, I was like, oh, God.
The way the last 2 games had gone for him, of course you thought it was going in.
I thought that was going.
But I thought, I'm not going to question whether he should have taken the shot. I think the shot I had no problem with. I do say he probably goes to the bucket there and gets an easy 2. I think the way they defended him all
But then
series,
you're probably playing overtime. That's the only thing I think. I think he was thinking, win it right now instead of play overtime.
Unless Scott RKO's someone out of nowhere and calls a foul. Like, I wouldn't put that past him in the end, at the end of the game there. But I think he had an easy 2. But, man, that would have been an absolute dagger if he hit that shot.
He wanted it. I mean, honestly, the better kind of play if you're worried about going into Al Horford would have been to, like, get to 18, 15 feet and pull up. Take the short, the mid-range
going for
shot.
It all.
But he was going for the win. I respect that. Because you know what? That dude knocks that down. He is a hero today in Miami. Because I think the Celtics lose. I mean, there would be time. The last 10 seconds of a basketball game like that could take forever. A lot of things could happen. But
yeah,
if he hits that shot, that is just emotionally devastating. And I don't know if the Celtics would have been able to recover. But me saying that is so much PTSD. Can we put to bed yet those things, Christian? Do we think... Can we put the Celtics PTSD in the you-know-where, or are we keeping that until they finally win a finals?
I mean, it's still there, obviously. Like, can they just... The closing thing it could be an issue in the Golden State series, especially because at the end of these games, even game 6, they were within 1, I think, 1 or 2. And I feel like Smart got a little bit back to old Marcus Smart and a little bit too much Smart. Jaylen Brown and Tatum took 1 shot each in that fourth quarter, maybe even a little bit of the third as well. So not nearly enough. And I thought last night, get the ball to Jaylen Brown. He was going nuts. He could get to the hole. The only thing I worry about with him is turning the ball over.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to let it go until you got to reach the mountaintop. I think they've absolutely gotten to a point this season where I can't say it's a fail unless you actually just get blown out 4 games in a row and just get swept off the series. But they've definitely gotten that. They've taken a step here. I think that's pretty clear at this point.
Yeah. The Marcus Smart thing, I obviously would have preferred somebody else because Marcus has been struggling shooting since the ankle injury. Wide open shots, wide open threes. He's actually been pretty good this year. Very reliable. I don't like when he just launches, those, like, some of them he's
I don't like
forced
the
into.
bad shots.
I don't like bad shots, but wide open shots out of a double team, got to take those. What I want to see, because Golden State's going to probably do some of this too. And Miami's thinking was, we're not going to let Tatum beat us. They want the ball in his hands? No. We're going to double him, trap him, force him to give the ball up. And so what I want to see is Jalen making himself more available for Jason so that he can get the ball out of those double teams instead of Marcus. Because, like, Marcus gets the ball 5 seconds left on the clock out of a double team. It's like, well, I'm not going to run around with this here. I got to shoot it. So that's the only thing. The Celtics are gonna be seeing more of these double teams. Guys have to make themselves available for Tatum, who made some tremendous plays. He scored when he needed to in the second half, and he had a bunch of assists. He was making plays.
He's gotten far better than anyone would have thought this season at picking the right guy to pass to, looking for the open guy. His passing just in general has gotten so much better. He's well improved in pretty much all areas. We know what he can score. He can do just about anything you need him to do on the offensive end. But the passing was an issue. The turnovers were an issue. He's a little bit up and down with the turnovers, but overall, I'll take it because I think he's finding the right guy. And passing out of a double team in the NBA now, high pick and roll, you get doubled. You get two guys sprinting at you, three guys. You got to find the right guy, and he's done that. Done that far better than anyone would have expected.
Yeah. So to kind of tie up. Actually, we'll hit the comment section real quick. Vincenzo Twitch chat, love it, says anything is possible. Yes. And then Colin says the mental hurdle of getting past the Eastern Conference Finals and a massive turnaround from the season, going from barely mediocre at the midway point in the season to being in the NBA Finals. Very impressive story overall. Crazy. Yeah, I mean it's crazy. I mean, in
23 and 24 to finals appearance. Yeah.
I'd love to go back and see what our I should have gone and found some clips from our shows during that stretch.
Yeah, they were not good. Yeah. But you know what? Much like Jaylen Brown, I felt the energy shifting.
Yeah. Colin also says Smart could have made a better percentage shots in those moments. Threes were not necessary at that time to maintain that lead. Yeah, I mean, they just needed a 2.
He also missed some bunnies though late.
Yeah, I mean,
that he normally should make. And they were open.
There was also guys getting fouled, that one being called. And then there was like, explain to me, you know what? We can save this for something else. I'm gonna make a note of it. I'm gonna make a note of it. Noted. Maybe we'll talk about this at another point.
The officials were a problem in both 6 and 7, but they weren't a reason you won or lost.
Yes. Colin also
God, did they suck? Both of those.
Jalen should have made himself more available to Jason too. Yes, which is what I've been saying. Out of those double teams, next 100%. Series, like Marcus can't be the only guy paying attention and getting open for. And that doesn't mean like, hey, I'm over here, I'm open with nobody on me.
That means run into the ball.
That means run and go get the ball. Make yourself available. It's like scramble play in football. Come back to the quarterback. Make yourself available. You gotta come to Tatum. Come to Papa.
Much like come to Jesus talks, you gotta come to Tatum talks. That's what it is.
Yes, welcome to my Tatum talk. So anyway, to put a bow on this series and to fully gripe and celebrate some moments, let's do a Celtics Heat special, hot and not.
It's time for hot.
Hot.
You want to talk about hot?
Hot.
Please stop doing that.
Doing what?
Continue. Go ahead.
And not.
God, is he a moron? Oh my God, he doesn't shut up.
It's so stupid.
Stupid decisions.
Dum-dums. The naughtiest knot of the year.
Oof. Suck fest. Suck sauce.
On the 360 Sports Show.
All right, Christian. The good, the bad, the up, the down, pluses, minuses, hot and not. Start with things that were good, that you liked about this series.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go right off the top of my head, which was Al Horford getting over that hump because I think he played on some good teams with the Hawks, but never real title contenders. And for a guy like that, first Dominican Republic, I think native to get to this point. I want to say that he is the first to get to the finals, which is pretty incredible. And just an all around pro. Al Horford is. He's much like a Zdeno Chara, a guy like that. He's just an all around pro. He leads by example. He's a good guy to have in your locker room, and I think he's. I would credit him with at least some of the growth and maturity of Robert Williams and Tatum and Brown and all these guys. They've seen him, for a number of years now, and I just think him getting over that pinnacle. It's not done yet. Don't get me wrong, but getting over the hump of the East Finals into the finals, good moment for him.
Yeah, well, I love the Al Horford story. He was a monster in the fourth quarter. There was some big defensive stuff. There was a point where the Celtics just had a 9-point lead, and it's like, you could have been up 20 now because they were getting stops and just not being able to convert on the other end. But getting the stops was critical, and there's like time and time again. Because I chose once again to just listen to the game, listen to Grandy and Max, and it would be like, shut up, no good. Horford the rebound. It's like, oh my God.
He was huge.
How many times? And then
He
obviously
also just lost his grandfather and had a tough week for him and his family. And to come through this moment, I mean, that's a lot of release for him.
Absolutely. So the Al Horford story, it continues. We're going to keep getting to talk Al's praises. I want to give flowers to Ime Udoka because there's certainly been times like
what
there
type
was
of flower?
I don't know.
Bouquet, or were you talking like a dozen roses? How do we feeling here?
Ooh, 100 roses.
100 roses. Okay.
No wait, 18 roses.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Well, the numerologist, someone in the Twitch chat, tell me what the significance of 18 roses is.
Please don't do that. It's gonna come back in emojis here.
True. But there was times early in this year when the team was struggling. There was a lot of blame being put on him. And the lock, you could definitely understand that, new coach, some new players. How's this going to fit? How's this going to work? And that dude kept it together. And I think it'd be really easy. It would be, it's natural to have doubt and self-doubt. That must have been a very difficult start to a coaching career. And I still don't know necessarily where he stands X's and O's. Like, is Brad Stevens the better X's and O's guy? I don't know. I think there's plenty of X's and O's coaches that are probably better than him. Steve Kerr may be one of those who he'll face here. But I'll tell you what, Ime has gotten these guys to play, to buy in to the defense. Their mentality is so much different. I don't think any of the Brad Stevens teams, even the overachievers, the Avery Bradleys, Jay Crowder, Horford, Isaiah Thomas, like 2017 team, didn't have the talent to be able to. They played the right way. They just didn't have the talent to overcome the better teams to get to a finals. Get to the conference finals, yeah, and then lose in 4, lose in 7. Obviously, we won't know what 2017-18 ever would have been for Brad if that team was healthy, because you would have had rookie Jason Tatum and young Jaylen Brown kind of all in line. Who knows? But Ime's got these guys with this mix now, with what he was exactly 100% what they needed. And the biggest thing to me, the biggest difference is he's riding his guys. He's not saying, I play 10 guys and Peyton's going to get his minutes and let's get Nesmith in here for 5 and bump. He played, 6 guys? I mean, that's it. 7 guys, maybe? I think
7.
Is it White and Williams?
Grant, yeah.
And I think Pritchard maybe got like a minute or 2 at some
2.
point in this game. 2
He
minutes.
played 2 minutes last night.
And he's going to be huge in the next series. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
But-
yeah. He's going to be the reason they win.
No, but he can be on the floor. He's not going to get.
No, just kidding.
You're going to need the offense. These last 2 series were rock fights. And Pritchard was huge in Game 7 versus Milwaukee, but he's determined his playoff rotation. Like, he's not just saying, I want to put Daniel Tyson because I put Daniel Tyson. Brad kind of just would stick to his script whether it was regular season or playoffs. He has his like 9 guys that he likes and will play. Ime's just kind of a little bit more that old schooly. He's riding the big guns. And it's subtle, but that's just such a big difference. I just think he's commanded. He has their attention. Sometimes you just need a different voice. And so Ime gets so much credit for what he's done with this team. They're to a point where they haven't been in 10 years. He's a big part of that. So.
Oh, 100% he is. I mean, the mentality is a thing in itself. Just quickly, I did confirm he is the first player to represent the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, I was taking a peek at the list. Current players from the DR: Chris Duarte and Karl Anthony Towns, along with Horford.
Oh, yeah. So yes, I did confirm that. But yeah, I mean, Ime is he should get a ton of credit. And look, it's about the players. It's about Jalen and Jason. I mean, those two are going to take you as far as you can go, and I think they were pretty good last night. Smart obviously chipped in. When those 3 each score 20 points, I have no stat to back this up, but I guarantee you they win most of their games when that happens, because the 3 of them together scored 75 points for the Celtics last night. I mean, it's just or about that. So,
trying to find, there's that picture of the 3 of them from last night. Marcus tweeted out. Some said a split. We said a family. 4 more to go.
Yeah.
And then somebody else had retweeted it. I can't find it. That they're the first trio in a conference finals to average, there's like points, rebounds, whatever, or maybe win. There was something where they were the first trio to ever do. And in this era of big threes and all these alliances, like they did something for the first time. That's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
So, anywho, let's. What are our knots from this series, Christian? I will let you start here with the knots from the Celtics Heat series.
Yeah, my first is I just think the refs are insufferable in some of these games. I think they get to, and it's not just Celtics games or whatever. It's games around the NBA. They get too whistle happy and too much. If you're gonna call it one way, call it another, call it even, or here's an idea: let the guys play on the floor instead of blowing the whistle every 2 seconds. It takes so much away from the game and the product. It's just call the obvious ones. Let the other stuff. Like, how many times has defensive 3 seconds been called in the playoffs this season? -6. And last night they get one at a random time when you like, what are we doing? Please just swallow the whistles, which will carry into the other side of this. And you're not, which is the flopping from every team in this league is just in combination with
it's them buying it. It's not the flopping. The flopping is bad, right? But then it's compounded by refs falling for it.
Yeah, but okay, but it goes the other way as well. These guys flopping around, and then the refs feel like they have to make a call, or they don't know what to call because these guys are flopping everywhere. Yeah. So the constant guys on the ground falling out, like I feel like I'm watching a soccer match half the time, and I like soccer most of the time. But it's just it takes away from the product when you got guys falling, especially guys like Lowry and Smart. Those two are, I mean, everybody was complaining about those two last night. I think
they are different, though. They're different.
Oh, they're different. And I think one guy is worse than the other, and maybe that's me being biased, but Kyle Lowry flopping around every single time. And not only that, he gets more calls than anybody on the floor. It's just, it's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the officiating, too, is it's like all anyone ever wants is consistency. And we'll see, like, somebody's fingernail grazes somebody, and then, like, or a guy is going up to shoot, and he gets fouled, and his elbow catches the guy in the head, and it's like, okay, well, we have a defensive foul, but then we have a technical foul for contact. It's like, he got fouled. What is he supposed to do? He has no control of his body because that dude just hit him. We overanalyze all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. But then there's, like, obvious times where, like, a guy, like, might actually hit a guy in the head and not going to look at it.
Yeah, you want an example? The call last night where Derek White got elbowed in the head and he had to come out of the game, they weren't even going to look at that.
Yeah.
Number one, they didn't look at it, but I'm saying they weren't even going to call it. Two refs were looking right at it, weren't going to call it until the third guy came in and called it. So
Yeah.
it's like there's obvious ones like that, clearly a foul, that don't get called, and they don't want to call it. But then there's other ones down the other end where, like, someone gets too close to Kyle Lowry and he goes into the third row, and it's like, well done. And even Van Gundy too, like, he does a great job selling the contact. Well, yeah, I mean, he's like, I feel like he's going up against like the Big Show in a WWE ring every time he gets thrown around. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's annoying. I mean, that's my not. My not. Well, there's two. First is block charge. I don't know anymore. Something's called a block. Hey, right, that's a block. Team challenges, and then it gets overturned. And it's like, it's still a block. Watch the video. It's like, well, nope, if you stop it here, he's in legal guarding position. Yeah, you paused the video. Yes, he is standing still because you paused the video. Just because he got there in time doesn't mean it's not a block. If I jump in front of you as you're going to the rim, I have blocked your path.
Yeah.
That is literally the definition. Yeah. You have to have already been there. Or, like, you have to have been feet set for a second, for a whole beat.
Clearly not.
I guess not. But then it goes the other way. A guy steps in, they call charge, then they want to review it, and it's like, oh, well, he was kind of sliding. I don't see any consistency with how they review or overturn or decide block charge anymore. I mean, there was one, Grant Williams came in. I think it was Oladipo tried to step in to take the charge. Grant Williams tries to, like, step around him. He goes up. They call offensive foul.
Yeah.
It's like, the guy was late, and he tried to go around him. What do you want? What are you supposed to do? And then how are you supposed to play defense? I don't know. The officiating makes it impossible.
Also, there's different calls from one night to the next.
But it is all part of what you're saying, Christian, is because there's guys like Kyle Lowry who it's just insufferable. Marcus Smart flops. Yes. But that dude also stands up and takes it in the chest on defense. He takes legit charges. He takes on legit assignments. That dude is not afraid of battling with centers, power forwards, you name it. Marcus Smart is tough. He does throw himself around at times to get calls. I get it. It's just part of who he is. He's an agitator as well. But Kyle Lowry takes it to another level when he just, like, runs into the lane, throws himself at somebody, and gets a call. It's like a dude is just standing there with his hands straight up and down, not even moving. Legal guarding position for 5 seconds. And Kyle Lowry just dribbles in and throws him, like, and there's ones where, like, he, like, just, like, gets a little bump with, like, a hip, and I'm worried for the guy hurting his neck. The whiplash.
You're getting some serious feedback when you do that too. It sounds like you're going into a wind tunnel. Oh, I couldn't hear anything you just said.
Oh, Mike, there we go. Better now.
Yeah, there you go. I'll tell you what though, when you were kind of acting out what was happening, it looked real because it sounded like you were in a tornado.
I'll have to go back and listen to that. But to my point, the guy just, like, throws himself all and gets the calls.
Yeah.
Insufferable.
That's the worst part, yeah.
And the other thing, too, another not, NBA, a $25,000 fine for the other team standing on the floor.
Yeah, that's got to stop.
Guess what? Markieff Morris did not play a single minute, but he was on the court for the entire game. Both games.
Pretty much.
Like, come on. It's a safety thing. Get those guys back. They can stand on their bench and yell and scream. That's just part of the game. I'm not bothered by guys. The Kyle Lowry run where he's kind of like, oh, like, one, are you a baby? Like, that was childish. It should not affect you as a player because you got the crowd and there's just so much going on.
He's just so annoying too in general, just watching him play.
But that's it. Those other ones in the corner, there was the Marcus Smart and 1-3 from Game 4, I think. He actually hit Markieff Morris on the way down, as he was getting knocked sideways. Somebody's going to get hurt. So don't just fine these guys $25,000. Fine the team $100K and fine each player who's in violation $25K. And then in the game, officials call a technical.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Bench technical. Done. Easy. Guys, get the F back.
Even if you want to do like a delay in game warning, something like that. You want to give them one warning, they step over that line in the field of play when it's going on, court of play, whatever. That's a technical. I think it's got to be in game because 25,000. Nobody cares about that. They're just gonna do it again.
Our friend Matt Murphy, resident NBA cap analyst, he said to me, he was like, Pat Riley takes a bath and more than that on a daily basis.
Yeah. So he's not going to care about that.
So just ludicrous. So that was yeah.
Kyle Lowry, I respect Kyle Lowry, right?
Kyle Lowry.
Lowry. He's a champion. He won. I mean, Kawhi is obviously one of the great players in the league, but he still won a champion. He does make clutch baskets. He's a really, really good player. But I cannot stand watching him play basketball. I really cannot.
Exactly. He does not need that other element of his game. Dude, you're a great player.
Stop it with the
You
other
are
stuff.
tough. Why with the antics? And every single time, it's every single time he gets a foul call, they like, oh, let's go and review it. Looked like a lot of contact, and it's like he just like brushes into a guy and then is flinging his head, and they go, oh, sold that one. It's like every single time. Come on.
It's a tough watch. It really is. It takes something away from the game. I just every time up and down the floor.
And you know what? You know what I'm grateful to say, though? I'm going to put Kyle Lowry somewhere right now, and we don't have to worry about him until next year. To the ball locker, Kyle Lowry.
The flopping is done. Yeah, if I had to watch 4, I probably wouldn't watch. I don't know. I don't know if I could
have stomached it. But anyway, let's preview this finals matchup here. And maybe in reference to the person who we just put in the ball locker, who will we hate by the end of this series?
I think that's pretty obvious, don't we know?
I'm asking the question. I don't know if is there anybody as hateable as Kyle Lowry?
No.
I don't think so. But who will we hate by the end of this series?
Is it much like everybody hates Marcus Smart? It's going to be Draymond Green. It's pretty clear.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same type of thing. He does the same exact thing.
But those two are much more similar players, though. Smart and Draymond are much more similar because they're also both dogs.
Draymond will start complaining and bitching and moaning, and then he'll hit a 3 and have a big assist or something, and you'll just absolutely you will not be able to stand him. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I agree with Draymond. I mean, him and Marcus are just fighters, right?
And also Jordan Poole, because he's going to hit every shot. Just wait for it.
Well, I was going to say, some people have said to me Steph Curry, but I think that's more like the way you hated Kobe. Like, you hate him because he's so good.
He's so good, yeah.
You don't hate him because, like the same way you hate these guys. Like, he's not Kyrie. He's not Grayson Allen. He's not Kyle Lowry. Like, I don't think there's anybody like that in this series. Draymond's close, but I can still respect Draymond's game. Unless he starts kicking guys in the nuts. Rob Williams, watch out. Because you've already lost so many of future children in this playoffs.
The Giannis' shoe, jeez. I mean, that's a tough one.
Yeah. Oh, goodness grief.
You can take that one, though. You're pretty much set for the rest of the league because I think that might be the biggest foot in the league.
True. Anyway. So, yeah. Those are side topic. Those are some ones you think you can hate. Kind of on the flip side of the coin. Are the Warriors likable again? Like, they're past having Durant and kind of this bandwagon team. They got to the mountaintop. They crashed. That original homemade core has built it back now. Are they a likable team again? Or if they win a title, are people going to say, ugh, please, again?
Probably that. Look, I think if anybody wins or in this spot as much as they are now in the last 8 years, people are going to hate them because they're winning. It's like the Spurs of old, or it's like the Patriots, or it's like one of these teams that gets to that pinnacle so many times. Even if they don't win it, there's going to be so many people rooting for them to lose. They are definitely more likable. I think there's no question about that. I mean, I think they're an entertaining bunch. It's a little annoying that they got Durant, won a title, then they were able to tank, get a I know, but with they were able to win one without him, weren't they?
Yeah, their first one.
So then Durant comes in, and obviously we all know what happens next. It's like, what are we doing? Why even play the season? And then it is kind of annoying. The annoying part about this team now is they somehow were able to tank for 1 year, get a top pick, trade for Andrew Wiggins, revamp his career. Jordan Poole now is a great player, so they have that. And then Thompson comes back, and he's just lighting it up. So that's the only annoying part. But they're so much more likable when they have Curry, Thompson, those two Splash Brothers. No Kevin Durant. They don't need LeBron James. They don't need Giannis. Like, let's not get too carried away. Like that would be just ridiculous. For them to have this group back, I think is much more of a good story than it would be if Kevin Durant was one game away from beating them and then joins them.
Yeah.
Here comes this parachute. Woo.
Yeah, I think the downtime helps too. I think if they had like lost that finals in 2019 and then like we're back the following year in the bubble and like made it, like if Thompson got hurt but they still were finding ways, like I think the fact that they hadn't made the finals and didn't make the playoffs and then made the play-in and then, like, I think all of that helped make them more likable again. It kind of gave them, coming into this year, a little bit of that, especially with Clay coming back. That's just a great story for him.
I mean, they're a great team, but they weren't. It's not like they won, 72 games. They weren't some juggernaut. So
Exactly. So that's the thing. I think the fact that they were the 3 seed, they had a hot start and then kind of cooled off.
They've been really good in the playoffs. Though.
Really good in the playoffs. I certainly think they are a more likable bunch now. This is something that you always got to do when you're thinking about the series. I said, I didn't think Tatum was going to be the best player on the floor in the first series. He was. He was better than Kevin Durant. He was not better than Giannis in the Milwaukee series, but more Celtics were better than Bucks in that series. Tatum was him and Jimmy Butler, I think, neck and neck as far as who was the best player in this series.
Yeah, I would lean Butler, but Butler had a couple of duds there, pretty bad duds.
Couple of stinkers, which is a little bit injury related too. But no excuses. That dude doesn't want excuses, and I'm not gonna make him for him. So he got the MVP, best player of this series, according to the experts. Let's draft this series going into it. Who's the number one player in this series?
Probably Steph. It's probably 1 and 1A, probably Steph Tatum.
Okay, I agree. I think it's Steph first because the dude is a force.
He's won it.
And he's won it. And then I go Tatum.
It's close though, I'll tell you. It's much closer than anyone would have said before the season started.
And here's the thing too. This is where I think Tatum's going to have a huge finals. This is from a matchup standpoint. He does not have to worry about a Giannis. He doesn't have to worry about Jimmy Butler anymore. There's nobody on the Warriors who is like that.
Or Kevin Durant.
They're just such a different style team, but there's not this assertive guy who's trying to just overpower them physically. And defensively, Tatum's not going to have to pick up a guy like that. So I think the floor is going to be open more for Tatum to guard people and utilize his size. And then offensively, I think the floors, maybe him and Wiggins matched up, which that'll be an interesting matchup to watch play out because he's kind of the X factor for the Warriors. So I think Tatum could have a massive series. So it's Steph, Tatum. Who's number 3?
I lean Klay Thompson.
I do as well.
And then Jaylen Brown.
Yep. So we're in agreement that in that top 4. Where do you go after this? Because these are easy. Steph and Tatum kind of neck and neck. Klay Thompson, for the same reasons I put Steph above Tatum. Klay's been there, done that. He is healthy right now. Then Jaylen Brown. That is an amazing top 4.
Sure.
Who's next? Because this is where this series is really going to be won or lost. We expect the Stars to play well. If Stars don't play well on either side, that team doesn't have a chance to win. The Stars are going to have to play well. So This is really where the difference is. Who's next?
Next, I would go probably Smart Draymond for a tie, some sort of tie. I don't know. You could swap those two. I think. I think they do some of the same things for each side. To be honest with you, I guess I lean Draymond just because he's won it, but I think those two are interchangeable.
I'm gonna go Smart, Horford, Draymond.
I don't know about that.
I'm believing in. I mean, again, same deal. There's no Bam Adebayo. There's no Giannis. Horford is gonna have, and Time Lord. These guys, Kevon Looney is not Bam Adebayo. Like,
I mean, if Rob was healthy, Rob is up here in the top 10. But I just
yeah.
don't.
The bigs for the Celtics, and I'll even throw Daniel Tice in there. They need to have a big series. They should. The Celtics are the much bigger team on paper. Now, so I don't, and we'll see as the games play out what kind of game they want to play. Do they want to play? We're big, you're small and shooting, but we can get all the rebounds, and you can't stop us inside, and we're gonna set brutal screens, and get Tatum and Brown and Smart wide open shots night in and night out. I don't know. Are we gonna get switches? And I don't care if it's Daniel Tice. He's got Jordan Poole on him inside. Like,
Yeah.
We'll see. Right now, I'm leaning with Horford, just because I'm definitely go Smart, and I look at that next spot. Draymond is not a shooter. He's a great facilitator, as a scorer. I'm gonna take Horford right now. If you're asking me for like a whole season, no. In this series, in the finals, Horford finally here. That dude's just ready to go nuts to win a championship.
It would not surprise me, yeah.
So I'm picking Horford before Draymond. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's get 3 more. Who's after that?
After that, I'd probably go Rob Williams, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole.
So I go Poole, Wiggins, then Rob. Rob would be higher if he weren't hurt. Yeah,
I mean, he's below those guys if he's hurt, but like, if he can be what he was in the, I don't know, call it this series earlier. Like last night, he wasn't great. He only played 14 minutes, but if he can give you 20 minutes, I like Rob a lot.
Yeah,
especially for this team. I think he's fantastic.
So we basically have starting fives.
Yeah.
Right? Essentially. And it's pretty even. Now after this, I don't know. Like, now we're getting into Grant Williams or Otto Porter. Like, it sounds nuts, but those are the matchups that are really going to determine this series. If these top 10 guys just play to their potential, obviously if Tatum drops like 50 in every game, or if Steph Curry just hits like 10 threes a game, like, that's going to win you the finals. But if those guys just play to their averages, who's going to be the guy? Is it going to be Grant Williams, has a lights out series, shoots like 70% from 3 in the series? Does Peyton Pritchard have impactful minutes? Does Daniel Tice? Is it Andrew Wiggins? Does he surpass, kind of his current production? Or an Otto Porter? Like, there could be a game. Otto Porter drops 20 points in a game. If that happens, the Warriors are going to win that game. So these guys, the guy 6 through 11 on the roster in this series, I think are all pretty solid.
We'll just draft the bench. I mean, beyond the starting 5, it looks like it's Bjelica, Otto Porter if he's healthy, which he was not. He did not play in the end of the Maverick series. But it's Bjelica, Poole, and Moody pretty much for the Warriors. And then you're looking at Derek White, Grant Williams, and Peyton Pritchard.
It's so close.
I mean, Poole is probably number 1 there. And then where do you go? I mean, I think it's pretty even.
Yeah, it's very even, which is insane. That's what I love about this matchup. And it's the Warriors are a good defensive team, rating wise and the numbers, But I think the Celtics are just at another level with their defense right now. And I think the size, if Rob Williams can just give them like 15 minutes a night, that's going to be huge. Go out there and max out for 15 minutes. That's it. They just need those minutes from him. Because just in those minutes, what he can do to impact the game, because he can give them offense and defense, is going to be massive. What else? Are there any other matchups, things about this series that you find interesting, intriguing, Christian, before we get into making some predictions?
No, I think we kind of mentioned it. I mean, it's very close. Both these teams are top 10 defensively, and then on offense, both these teams can shoot the lights out one night, any given night, really. I mean, Thompson hit 8 of 16 in game 6 against the Mavs. I mean, either one of these teams, I think they're going to be more close than like one of those Heat games early on, 1 through 4, because the Warriors are not going to miss 43 3-pointers. They're just not going to do it.
No shot.
This series is intriguing because both are good defensively, both can shoot. And I think it'll be close, but it's going to be, once again, I mean, like the NBA goes, it's going to be about Jason, Jalen, Steph, Clay, and then the other guys are going to have to contribute. I mean, if the Warriors get going off their bench with a guy like Jordan Poole, look out, because he can score in bunches. He can go off for 28 off the bench.
Yeah. I like that this series is starting on the road again for the Celtics, because they have been the best road team in the NBA.
Yeah, it's impressive. They've been good.
What they've done on the road in the playoffs is honestly unprecedented, because home court means so much in this league.
Usually.
I
mean, they haven't been great at home either. Let's not give them a pass.
I know, that's what I'm saying. They haven't been their best at home, and they've been unreal on the road, in especially these last 2 series, in needing it. Like, desperation mode, facing elimination on the road, winning a Game 6 in Milwaukee, winning a Game 7 in Miami.
Yeah.
Impressive stuff. So I like that. First finals, blah, 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 all that stuff, starting in San Francisco. Immediately, any success, like, you are the underdog. The pressure's going to be all on Golden State to start the series. And start it out there. And then bring it on home. Because you know what? Again, same thing I said about the Miami series. Just go steal one in Miami and come back and take care of business at home.
And then let them steal one from you to make it more difficult.
Yeah, exactly. That didn't end up playing out the way anybody thought. But the same logic, I think, still holds true. Let this team, who's been road warriors, it's where they're comfortable, start this series on the road.
See what you did there. Road Warriors, eh?
Yes.
So we got the Warriors at home, and then we got the Road Warriors.
Yes. And hopefully the Warriors on the road are not road warriors.
Hopefully they're just Golden State. Let's just leave them at that.
So, with all that being said, obviously, I think, they released the schedule. First, Game 1 is Thursday.
Game 2 is Sunday.
Game 2 is Sunday. So, when we speak to you next, we'll be shifting back to Boston, as they say. So we'll be 2 games in, and we'll get a real sense of what this finals matchup looks like and how some of these matchups are playing out. So right now, give me your prediction, Christian. Who wins this series and why? And in how many games?
I have trouble picking this one. I just think the Celtics have had a tougher road. They're beat up a little bit. So, and I've seen the Warriors do it. So I'm going to pick the Warriors. It's hard. It's tough to say. I think it's going to be close, 6 or 7. But I like the Warriors.
6 or 7?
Because 6 or 7. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Is it 6 or is it 7?
Yeah, it's 6 or 7. Yeah. I like the Warriors in 6 or 7, but that's not to say the Celtics can't win it, because I think they can. But if Rob was healthy, I think that's a game changer. Smart, I worry about his ankle as well. Is he going to miss some time? So I think the Warriors are healthier. Otto Porter being the one kind of gray spot there for the Warriors, gray area. But overall, the Celtics had a real tough road to get here. They kind of I think these 3 days off are going to be huge. But yeah, I lean Warriors.
That's a 6 or 7 jersey.
There you go. That's where I'm at. Ask me next week, and I'll have a better answer for you.
6 or 7.
Whether it's going to be if they get blown out 2 games in a row, it'll be 6. If they don't, maybe it'll be 7.
Oh man, my apologies. I am picking the Celtics in 7. Here's why. What this team has done so far is just mind-blowing already. The crucible of a playoff run that they are on. The path that everybody said you didn't want to have to take. Play Brooklyn. Sweep. Oh, you're going to play Milwaukee in the second round. Took care of them in 7. Faced elimination. On the road. No big deal. Then win Game 7 after falling behind early at home. Perfect opportunity to choke it away. And honestly, could have been an endpoint that would have been valiant. Hey, Game 7 at home and they're defending champs. Giannis, best player in the world. Nope. They take care of business. Eastern Conference Finals, top seed, Miami. They've been one of the best team in the conference basically all year long. And, record-wise. Tough team, deep team, 3-point shooting team. And granted, I think after watching it, the Celtics are the better team, like legitimately so. Could have won it earlier, if not for some of their own errors. But had to overcome a lot of adversity and an incredibly, incredibly gifted and tough, talented player in Jimmy Butler.
People want to know who you're picking here. You're leaving.
So I'm saying this run is historic. And you know what? The way to cap it off, beating the Warriors in their building in a Game 7 to complete one of the most... Everybody talks about these runs for teams recently being so easy. Oh, the Warriors were loaded. Oh, who did they have to play to get there? This is not that. Celtics win this puppy. Oh my God! Talk about nobody being able to put asterisks anywhere.
What was that? One more time.
Asterisks.
Okay, it was close, but yeah.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's
no idea what you're saying.
There's no arguing with this playoff run if they finish 100%. It off.
Yeah,
it's unreal. It's one of the best in I don't know. I'm trying to think in recent memory a run that was as difficult. The Celtics in 2008 made it difficult on themselves by having to go 7 against the Atlanta Hawks, but the Atlanta Hawks were not a challenge.
Were those games ever in doubt though? That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. This I'm maybe somebody in the next week, 2 weeks can come up with a playoff run that's better. That was more challenging. In recent memory, I'm sure in the 60s, 70s, 80s, there were.
I mean, I'm just more impressed with the
90s on. I can't.
I'm just more impressed with the road games. Tatum goes into Milwaukee, puts up 40+ Game 5. They have to go back there in game. They're in perfect position in both these series to win at home. Couldn't do it. They have to go on the road, Game 7, win in each of these two teams' buildings, top 3 in the conference, and they beat them both.
Yeah.
That's not really that common in the NBA.
Exactly. And I just have a feeling, I'm finally feeling, I mean, I always feel good. Except for right now, my chest is a little but I'm normally positive, but I feel really good about the Celtics' chances of this series. Now, it's going to go 7. But I just think the size, the defense, and just some of the things going, like, I think Tatum, Brown, Smart, these guys are just ready to take the crown. It's there for them. And I think a guy like Al Horford just deserves it so much and is going to ball out. And I think he should have the ability to feast in this series. Pick and roll going to be way more open now for him to hit some of these open shots. So, hey, we're going to be 2 games in when we come on the air next. A lot could change. We could say, well, that whole playbook's out the window. But
you're going to be down 2-0, tied 1-1, or up 2-0. So there you go. We have 3
I will
scenarios.
say the likely scenario of the Celtics being up 2-0, I do not see. There's about a 10% chance that happens, but even that, maybe you don't want to say there's a 1 in 8 chance.
I'm not going there. No, I'm not going 1 out of 8 ever again.
Oh man. So yeah, Celtics in 7. I feel it. I think it would be fitting because like you said, why they wouldn't be up 2-0? They don't do anything easy. So this series will not be easy for them either.
If
They'll
you
probably
put these
they'll
teams in a
probably be
simulation-
up 3-2, lose Game 6, and have to go back to San
Probably.
Francisco.
I mean, it would not. Yeah, that would be like a fitting end. But if you put these two teams fully healthy, fully loaded in an NBA 2K simulation, it's probably it'll flip who wins the series every time.
Yeah.
I think it's that close.
Yeah.
I just worry about the Celtics' health. I really do, because I think Smart. You saw a little bit of wear and tear there in this Miami series.
Wear and
although
tear?
he was,
His ankle was sideways.
I know, but even so, he was still on the floor, but he wasn't.
Not
Even though he scored 24 points or something, it wasn't the same Marcus Smart. So I worry about him. And Rob Williams is a big one to me. I think, man, he's maybe less in this series, with Looney being a little bit, less so than like a guy like Bam. But Bam got taken out of some of these games by Rob Williams. I think Rob was huge in Milwaukee as well as Miami.
Yeah.
So they've proven they can win without those guys on one given night. But for a full 7-game slate, it'll be tough to kind of
In this series, at
rolling
least,
here.
I think break glass in case of emergency. If Daniel Tice plays like big minutes, I'm not really that worried because of
No, I
the
think
size.
this is a more favorable series for him. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's exciting. I just think this is a dream matchup for the NBA. I mean, it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
matchup people have wanted for the last like 5-6 years.
The ratings are going to crush. I mean, there's absolutely no way they don't,
Yeah. So
unless everybody's flopping all over the place, and I mean, or if Scott Foster's in games 1, 3, 5, and 7. Jesus.
I don't think this is another thing you could throw into like a not factor as we wrap up here. Is it good for a league if I see like a national headline that's like Miami and Boston fans panic when they see referee assignment for Game 7? Like, it should not be good
Yeah.
if fan bases, both of them are like, oh my God, that official's doing the game, and like they're worried.
If
that-
I see the name Scott Foster or I see the name Zach Zarba, I know it's going to be a long night for everybody on the court, but it's going to be even longer for my ass because I'm sitting there having to watch these guys, and they stink.
stink more than never mind.
Whoa, don't go there.
Go bomb powder, baby. Christian, you're gonna yeah.
It's like sweating bullets in the final 3 minutes of these games. Yeah, I need some get me on one of those Old Spice commercials.
I was gonna
the
say-
ones where he's like spraying out armpit sweat. The guy from Rocky. Yeah,
That was you?
that could be me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll get you a finals care package. It'll be some high proof grain alcohol. We'll get you some deodorant. We'll get you some Gold Bomb powder.
I'll be good to go if that's the care package for sure.
Anything else? Anything else you need to your game day
I, need
stress
some,
relief?
I might need some snacks.
Some snacks.
Throw in some snacks there.
Did you ever eat the kashi I got you?
Yeah, dude, it's pretty good.
Oh.
I mean, it's not a top 5 cereal. Don't get me wrong, but it's
Okay.
good. Yeah.
We'll have to we'll have to revisit our top 10 cereals.
Yeah, we'll have to go over this food stuff again because baseball's right around the corner.
Nothing to talk about. But we get 2 more weeks of NBA basketball. So, anywho, that's going to do it here for us on the show. My voice is just about shot.
I was going to say.
I feel the coughing fit
Let's get
coming
you
on.
off here.
So, that is going to do it for the show here tonight. Thank you for joining us here live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. If you missed the live show, you can rewatch it on any of those platforms, or you can catch us as a podcast through Sounder FM or wherever you get your podcasts from. Thank you for listening, folks. We'll catch you next Monday. Have a happy Memorial Day.
See you later.